Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm Khair Sawi, a biology teacher. In today's session, I'll be talking about characteristics of living organisms, concepts and use of classification system, kingdoms of living organisms, viruses, and classifying animals. So let's get started. All living organisms have a couple of characteristics in common, and they are movement, respiration, sensitivity, growth, reproduction, excretion, nutrition, and all made of cells with common parts. Movement is the action by which an organism causing a change of a position or a place, part of it, or as whole. Respiration is the chemical reactions in cells that break down nutrient molecules and release energy. Sensitivity, the ability to detect and respond to changes in the environment. Growth is a permanent increase in size. Reproduction is the process that makes more of the same kind of organism, sexually or asexually. Excretion is removal from organism of toxic materials and substances in excess of requirements. Nutrition is taking in of materials for energy, growth, and development, all made of cells with some common parts. In chapter 2, we'll be studying the cells and their structures. A scientist called Linnaeus used a method to name organisms called binomial. He gave each organism a name of two parts. The first part refers to the genus. Second part refers to the species. First part starts with a capital letter. Second part starts with a lowercase. And here are a couple of examples. In dog-like mammals, all start with the same word, genus, but the second part is different. First part starts with a capital letter. It means they're the same genus group, but because the second part is different, it means they're not one species. They are different, and it means that they cannot reproduce and give fertile offspring. Organisms actually divided into levels: kingdom, phyla, class, orders, family, genus, species, from the broadest into the most specific, from kingdom to species. 7 levels or 7 taxa are there. Kingdoms. 6 kingdoms are there: Eubacteria, Archaebacteria, Protista, fungi, plantae, and Animalia. These 6 kingdoms, the living organisms divided too. And they are different in terms of cell type, cell structures, number of cells, mode of nutrition, and of course the examples. Cell types, there are 2 kinds of cells actually: prokaryotic cells and eukaryotic cells. Prokaryotic are very small compared to the eukaryotic cells. They don't have nucleus, they don't have membrane-bound organelles like mitochondrion, like chloroplast, and so on. While the eukaryotic cells have nucleus and membrane-bound organelles. Prokaryotic cells can reproduce only one way, asexually, by binary fission, while the eukaryotic cells can reproduce sexually and asexually. The only example of prokaryotic cells are bacterial cells, and animal cells, protestal cells, fungal cells, all are eukaryotic cells. Let's go back to the table. This is in terms of cell type, but in terms of cell structure, all have cell walls, except Animalia, except animal cells, don't have cell walls. All have cell walls. When you come to the bacteria, they have cell walls with peptidoglycan, a complex of sugar and amino acids. The archaeobacteria, although they have cell walls, but they lack peptidoglycan. Protista and Plantae have cell walls with cellulose, while fungi have cell walls with chitin. In terms of number of cells, either they are multicellular or unicellular. Bacteria, archaeobacteria, all are single-celled, unicellular you can say, while Protista and fungi, some are multicellular, some are unicellular. Plant and Animalia, all are multicellular. And in terms of mode of nutrition, either the animals are, or the organism in general, are autotrophic or heterotrophic. Autotrophic, like self-feeders, they make their own food, like Plantae, like Protista, like some bacteria and some archaeobacteria. Heterotrophic, there are other feeders. They depend on others, like also some bacteria, some archaea, some Protista, but all fungi and all Animalia are heterotrophic. This is in terms of nutrition, the way they obtain food. And the examples are a lot. Viruses. Viruses are not there. We couldn't find viruses in the classification system simply because they're non-living things. And they're non-living because they can't replicate their own. This is why they must invade living cells to make more of themselves. And it actually contains two parts: protein as a coat, enclosing genetic material, whether it's DNA or RNA. The session today is mainly about animals, kingdom, Animalia. It's high here. Classifying animals. Animals are actually divided into two groups. First group is invertebrates, which represents the majority. Second group represents vertebrates. Invertebrates actually includes 4 phyla: arthropods, annelids, mollusks, and nematodes. Phylum Vertebrates includes 5 classes: class fish, birds, mammals, reptiles, and amphibians. Now let's differentiate between them, and we'll be starting with phylum Vertebrates. Vertebrates are vertebrates because of the backbone they have. These animals have supporting rod running along the length of the body. The most familiar ones have a backbone and are called vertebrates, with 5 classes. First, fish. The fish shown, for example, here, like all fishes, all are aquatic, live in the water, except for 1 or 2, like mud skipper, catfish, can survive on land for a short period of time, breathing the air, of course. The characteristics all fish have in common are scaly skin, the gills that enable them to breathe the dissolved oxygen in the water, and the fins. Second class, amphibians. Although most adult amphibians live on land, they always go back to the water to breed, to lay their eggs. Example, frogs, toads, and salamanders are amphibians. The general characteristics they have in common are: they have thin, moist skin. They lay their eggs in the water, which hatch into larvae or tadpoles that use their gills to breathe in the water. Adults live on land. Youngs, like tadpoles, of course in water. Larvae have gills, while adults have lungs, like the one shown here. Third class, birds. Birds, as shown, like reptiles, they lay eggs with waterproof shells, with hard shells, unlike the reptiles, which lay their eggs with leathery or rubbery shells. The general characteristics birds have are: they're vertebrates with feathers. 4 limbs have become wings. They're 4 limbs. They lay eggs with hard shells. They're endothermic. And endothermic means they're warm-blooded. They can maintain body temperature constant. They generate the heat internally, unlike fishes, amphibians, and reptiles, which are ectothermic. Their body temperature is not constant, and this is why they're called cold-blooded. Back to birds, they have a beak. They have heart with 4 chambers, unlike amphibians and fishes. Fishes have only 2 chambers. Amphibians, the adults, with 3 chambers. Most of reptiles with 3 chambers, and some only a few of them with 4 chambers. And it's better, of course, to pump more blood and release energy. Fourth class, reptiles. These are the crocodiles, lizards, snakes, turtles, and tortoises. Reptiles do not need to go back to the water in order to breathe. Maybe they live in the water, but they go back to the land to lay their eggs with rubbery shell. They are vertebrates with a scale skin. They lay their eggs with rubbery shells or leather shells as a waterproof. Class mammals, the 5th class. In this group, we humans belong to. The characteristics, they're vertebrates with hair or fur. They have a placenta that supplies the embryos inside their mother's body nutrients, oxygen, and remove waste. Youngs feed on milk from the mammary glands that make the mammals unique. By the way, not all mammals give birth. Few of them lay eggs. All are endothermic, maintained body temperature, generate the heat internally. They have a diaphragm. It's a dome-like muscle separates the chest cavity from the abdominal cavity and helps in breathing. They have heart with 4 chambers, like birds. They have different types of teeth: incisors, canines, premolars, and molars. That's it all about vertebrates. And now it's time to learn about invertebrates, which includes 4 phyla. The first is arthropods. Arthropods are animals with jointed legs, but no backbone, just like all invertebrates. They are a very successful group because they have a waterproof exoskeleton, its second jointed legs exoskeleton, that has allowed them to live on dry land. Help them to reduce water loss, give them protection. There are more kinds of arthropods in the world than all other kinds of animal put together. The majority of animals are invertebrates, and the majority of invertebrates are arthropods. They have jointed legs and exoskeleton. In addition, they are segmented. First group of arthropods are insects. Insects, as shown in the figure, are a very successful group of animals. Their success is mostly due to their exoskeleton and trachea. This is the respiratory structure they use to breathe, which are very good at stopping water in addition from evaporating from the insects' bodies. So they can live in very dry places. They are mainly terrestrial, live on land, with a couple of characteristics like there are arthropods with 3 pairs of jointed legs, 3 on each side, 6 in total, or 3 pairs. 2 pairs of wings, none in all. If they have, it's 2 pairs attached to the middle part of the body. There are actually 3 body parts: head, thorax, and abdomen. To the thorax, wings attach. Crustaceans, like crabs, lobsters, woodlice, and shrimps, they breathe through gills because they're aquatic. They live in the water. There are arthropods with more than 4 pairs of jointed legs, not 4 pairs, more than 4 pairs. So if the arthropod or the animal has 3 body parts, has 3 pairs of jointed legs, compound eyes, antenna, it's insect. But if it has more than 4 pairs of jointed legs and only 2 body parts, or 1, they are not millipedes or centipedes, and they have gills. It means it's a crustacean. It's a lobster with lice or a shrimp. It belongs to crustacean group. Anyway. Third group, arachnids, or spiders and its relatives. There are the spiders, ticks, scorpions, mites, horseshoe crab as well. They are land-dwelling organisms living on land. They are arthropods with 4 pairs of jointed legs. This is one. They are tuberopods. They breathe with book lungs. It's gill-like structures. And more as shown in the figure. Fourth group, meropods. Meropods, like centipedes and millipedes, they have many segments. They have many jointed legs. But which is which? Centipedes and millipedes, how are they different? As shown, centipedes have less number of segments, less number of jointed legs in each segment, but long antenna compared to the millipedes. That's it all. I think it's time for questions. Some classified questions here, some MCQs. First, worms come to the soil surface after heavy rain. Which characteristics this is you think? Is it growth? It's not growing. It's coming out of the soil because of the rain. It's a stimulus. It's something affecting it. It's something it feels. It's harming it. So, is it nutrition? Is it reproduction or sensitivity? It is sensitivity. So the answer of question 1 is D. Question 2. Which animal is not an arthropod? We learned about arthropods that they have, number 1, exoskeleton. They have jointed legs. They are segmented. A, C, and D include or contain or have these features. B only have segmented bodies. It means B is the answer, and it's not arthropod. Question 3. An animal can swim. First, have a backbone. 2, suckles young and breathe air. Is it amphibians? All actually can swim. All have backbone because all are vertebrates. But when it comes to suckle young and breathe air, yes, it's different. Of course, it's not fish. Maybe it's amphibian because breathe air. Maybe it's mammals. Maybe it's reptiles because they breathe air. But suckle young, feed the baby's milk, it's mammals. It means question 3 answer is C. Now question 4. What is a feature of both insects and arachnids? Insects and arachnids, all they belong to arthropoda. They have jointed legs, they have exoskeleton, they have segmented bodies. But they're different in the antenna, which insects have and lack, and the arachnids lack. Compound eyes in insects. 6 legs or 3 pairs of legs in insects. But they're common in the exoskeleton. So for question, the answer is C. Now let's move to another kind of questions. Mollusks are important animals in many aquatic and terrestrial ecosystems. All of these animals are mollusks, have features in common, and have features as difference. Question A says, state 2 features shown by all mollusk species. Shown, something you can see in the figures. First, as shown here, the body mantle, all have it. This mantle, here this mantle, the body skin, this mantle, and this is mantle. It's the skin they have. Okay, so it means number 1, they have mantle. Second, what they have in common? It's the muscular foot, like in the clam here, this muscular foot, as in the muscles here, as in the snail here, as in here, in the octopus. So the answer is, first, they have mantle, they have muscular foot. B, state 2 features, visible, you can see, in which the octopus differs from other 3 mollusks. So we need to mention features the octopus lack and makes it different from the other 3 figures. Octopus, first, lack shell. Look here, the snail has shell, The mussels has shell and the clam has shell as well. All of these have shells, but here doesn't have shell. So first, doesn't have shell. Second, what it has and the others don't have is the arms and the tentacles. So it has arms, it has tentacles with suckers, it has a large head. It has a head, you can say. None of them have head. It has head here, the octopus, and also it has a large eyes. So many features you can say about the octopus that makes it different from the others. Now let's move to another question. This bird. Question says, state 3 characteristics are visible in the figure. Birds. I see here a beak. So it has beak. Second, it has feather. This is the body cover, and it's shown here. It has wings, and it's clear, in addition to the scales on the legs. So first, has beak, has feather, has wings. If you need to mention number 4, it can say has scales on the legs and clawed toes here. That's it all for today. Thanks for watching. Best of luck. See you later.